Around the Cabin is recorded before a live internet audience. Be part of the show. Post comments and questions to the host and other viewers. Go to aroundthecabin.com/campfire.
Bunch of redneck Robin Hoods. Bunch of redneck Robin Hoods. Hey, we're living good. Back in the woods.
Alrighty, and we are back up live in the room. I want to thank everybody for showing up, for being here tonight. Unfortunately, our friend Juliano will not be with us tonight. He is actually out camping, Bush Talk Brazil. Will not be with us tonight. He's out there taking care of teaching people live and in person. And I wish him the best of luck doing that and everything else. So tonight, he said, Rich, will you fill in for me? I said, sure, I can. So, is it next Friday already? Oh, look out there. Now we go. So now, what we're going to talk about. You know, I like to play the devil's advocate with you all sometimes, and I like to come up with different ideas. And one of the things that I struck upon the other night, we were talking about different things, and it brought up an idea with the possibility of, what hits the fan. The things that are going on here in the United States, the stuff where we cannot have, in certain areas, we cannot have solar. We cannot have burnt open fires or burning in fireplaces or things like that. These things they're talking about. Able to do these things. So let's talk about underground economy or / the black market or the undefined market. All these different things you want to call it. The gray market. People talk about all these different things. So my question, I guess, to you would be, in a hit the fan scenario, and you are unable to go to work. I mean, most of us have jobs. Myself, I'm retired, but most people have jobs, and they do these different jobs every day. So you've got to bring your money in. You've got to take care of your stuff. You've got to feed your family. We can't all raise chickens and goats and everything else because of where we're at, because of what we have going on around us, because of these different situations that are going on. So my question to you is, what do you have? What do you have that you can use for your underground economy? What exactly are you doing? What are you selling for yourself to help barter with, to help pay for things? If everything goes south, Chad says that you have my brain running through all kinds of questions. Okay, the same with mine. Now, Chat Administrator, which is we all know as Castle Mom, she sews. She could barter her sewing skills. I also know that she does wild medicinal plants. So she could sell some wild medicinal plants for different reasons. What skills do you guys have? I want you to think about these things. If everything went in the tank tomorrow and you no longer had a job, what could you do? Now, in today, nothing's gone on. We still, there's still power and everything else. We have somebody like Foos who's in the room, and Foos does computer stuff. So if he lost his job tomorrow, he could turn around and start doing computer stuff on his own. No, I didn't say, nomad, you could grow your own herbs, but you could travel down the road, find someone who's sick, and knowing the plants that you know, Castle, you can actually go out there and gather those plants and sell them. And because you would be a traveling nomad, as you said, you can actually go to different areas, pick up these plants, and then travel with those plants to people who do not have that plant available. Here in North America, things like coffee beans and plants from South America were sold in early American times before the white coloners got here. Those plants were traded all the way up into the United States, from South America all the way up through into eastern United States. Flint from up at the Great Lakes and iron and copper were harvested up there and were taken all the way to South America. Different rocks, different plants. Remember, Osage trees were not common on the east coast of America, or even to the east of the Great Miami River, or excuse me, as the Missouri River. So the problem was, not Miami, but Missouri. The problem was they brought these plants back with us. So they brought these bows over with us. They traded these goods. What goods do you have to trade that you could sell? It would be like the underground economy, more so than an actual black market. But these things that we need to think about doing, and think about, okay, guns. Bartering guns. Would you really want to barter a firearm to somebody who could turn around and use the firearm against you? One of my major rules that I have made for myself is I will never barter ammunition. I will barter for ammunition, but I will never give out ammunition. If somebody says, well, this will cost you 5.22 shells, I won't give them 5.22 shells. I won't do it. I'll find something else. I will not give them ammunition. My thoughts are, if I give them ammunition, they can then use that ammunition back against me. So if a guy comes to your house and he's got a bag full of corn, and you'd really like to have the corn, and he says, well, if you give me a couple 12-gauge rounds and a handful of 22s, I'll give you this whole bag of corn. Well, I give him that hand of 22s and a couple of 12-gauge rounds, and he leaves, and later on that night, I step out my front door, and he's hiding around the corner and shoots me in the head with a 12-gauge. Well, he got his bag of corn back, plus everything else I had in the house. Why would I trade him ammunition? If I know he has no ammo, all he's got is a big club. He doesn't have a firearm. My personal feelings. That's my personal feelings. I will not trade you ammunition. I will trade for ammunition, but I will not trade you ammunition. So, these different things that you would use, that you would think about for trading, what skills do you have? Big Dirt just came into the room. What skills does Big Dirt have? Well, Big Dirt has skills we know from before. He was a police officer. So maybe you're going to set up a trading area. Let's say in this place that we go to, that Sonny's there and I'm there, Swallow's there, Castle Mum shows up. Everybody's there for a trade area, and we want some security. Okay, we're going to sell all this stuff, and we're going to have the general populace that's still left come by. We need security. So then we'd say, okay, Big Dirt, we're going to give you this, and we're going to give you this, and we're going to give you this, if you provide the security for our area. Well, Big Dirt was a police officer, so I'm sure he's pretty well trained in security. So that would be a barterable skill that he could supply. He's also a big dude. He could be a bodyguard for somebody. If you were really worried, you would hire him to watch over your stuff. So these are some of the skills that you would want to have out there. Sonny does leather work. As long as he can get hides and leather, he can make stuff for you. Sheaths, backpacks, clothing, these kind of things that he can work. Castle Mum sews. She could make clothing. She could get with Sonny, make clothing, and and then as things picked up and progressed, because we're not going to be living like cavemen all our lives, after you know what hits the fan, people are going to want nice things. People are going to want pretty things. Wood crafters. People are going to want bowls. People are going to want containers. People are going to want these different things to work with. Benches, chairs, stuff like that. There will be a demand for these things eventually. It may not be right off the bat. Clothing. Clothing, I'm not going to say is a great thing to have right off the bat, clothing, because I believe if you know what hits the fan, and it really gets that bad that we have to barter for stuff, the major department stores are going to be looted. You're going to be able to walk downtown, bust a window, grab a shirt, and walk back out. But in the same time, if you have those clothes to trade or sell and you can take it there, then you need security to do your trading, because, you don't want somebody coming in and just putting a gun to your head and taking all your stuff. So having that security there would be available for it. Those kind of things you're gonna talk about. Those kind of things you're gonna need for different stuff. Now, what kind of skills do you need in this? You know what hit the fan kind of thing. Well, as we said, sewing, woodworking, leatherworking. How about other things? How about construction? A lot of stuff's gonna get tore up. A lot of people are gonna loot. They're gonna break. They're gonna burn. They're gonna do stuff because they're idiots. Not you guys, because you're here with us, but there's idiots out there. You know this and I know this. So being able to repair, to build. Maybe we need somebody to build a wall like this so Big Dirt can defend you better. Dirt would say, well, I would do security here, but we're too wide open. We need to enclose something. Okay, we need to trade somebody so they can do construction and give us a backdrop, to give us a wall to hide behind, to make it a choke point for people to come through to get to us. These kind of things, construction-wise, maybe you want to add to your house. Maybe you want to fortify your house. Maybe you want to make your walls twice as thick. Having construction, or being able to get somebody to do construction for you, or maybe you could sell off your construction stuff, your skills. Those kind of things are going to be needed. Canning, producing of food, keeping the food for longer periods of time. People are going to say, okay, I need to go out and harvest deer. I need to harvest rabbit. I need to get this. I need to get that. That's great. Maybe we don't have the electricity. Everybody's not going to have the electricity. People are going to be running around. Castle Mom, she's going to be a nomad. Does she want to run all the fuel in her RV to keep things cold and frozen? No. She's going to want to be able to can stuff up. Now, once you put this stuff away and you can things up, then it becomes something you can barter with also. So if Castle comes across a huge open field of, I don't know, some kind of vegetable she wants to can, corn. She comes across a huge cornfield. And she knows that by the time she travels from out west over here, that corn will be bad. So she could take that corn and can that corn, travel, can, and pick those things up. Things from South America or down south or up north or east or west, and trade it on the other side of the continent. Things we don't have. You see where we're going with this? Things that Castle knows how to do that other people... She can make her own cheese. She can make her own yogurt. Yogurt's not only good, it's also good for you. She can make her own yogurt, and she can turn around and sell that yogurt. And she can say, well, I will trade you a jar of... a canned container of corn for 3 empty jars. Or for a new set of lids. Or for whatever else. These are skills that she does. I bake. I bake a lot. I came from 4 generations of bakers. So, baking indoors, outdoors, I have no problem with that. I can make my own flour from other items. Besides buying flour, I can make my own stuff. So, being able to can. Yeah, somebody said, Tony says soap, canning, food preservation, all these different things are things that people are going to want. They're still going to want it. That's why I said, if you had a warehouse and you were able to stock up with feminine products and toilet paper, you would be a king in a bad situation. Because women are going to want feminine products and toilet paper. You would be set for life. You would be a king if you were able to have a warehouse full of that stuff. So, these items are things I want you to think about. What skills do you have? What can you do? Each one of you, Now, gardening. Gardening is going to be a huge plus if you know how to garden. If you have the seeds and the plants to heirloom and you know how to treat those seeds. Just because you have a container full of seeds is great, but do you know how to save the seeds from the first year's harvest to the second year? Do you have those things taken care of? Do you have the seeds the area you can get, you have this garden. That's great. Do you have protection from that garden? How do you know you're not going to wake up the next day after everything's ripe and somebody came in the middle of the night and stole your stuff? Oh, that's right, because you hired Big Dirt for security. Hand tools, repairing broken tools, remaking tools, blacksmithing, those kind of things. Tony's talking about that in the room right now. Those kind of things are great. Those things are wonderful skills. Being able to make a new shovel, repair a shovel, fix things. Let's talk about car parts. They said bicycles in the room, things like that. For a while, people are still going to want to drive cars. Can you repair cars? Do you have that skill? Can you repair bicycles, motorcycles? These things are still skills you want to do. How about if you're a fisherman? How about if you have a boat, a small enough boat that you can go out and actually fish without having to put gas in it? Do you have a rowboat? Do you have a canoe? Do you have something do you have a net? In an old video of mine on YouTube, I talked about nets across the rivers here. I live near some really good rivers. I would go and get some of the goal nets they have for soccer and other stuff that is in my area, and I would actually tie those nets together and stretch them apart. Stretch them across part of the river to use as giant gill nets to catch fish. Some of the holes are only 5-6 inches wide. I'm not looking for little tiny fish. I'm looking for bigger fish. I can make a scoop net. I can make a dip net. I can make all these different things. I could have this net down there in the water, put it on a huge lever, and lift part of that up, and hopefully bring up fish. These are ideas. And then once I have those fish, I could go down to the market that we've all planned out here, where Big Dirt's supplying security, and I could sell the fresh fish that day. Or maybe I could give the fish to Castle for something, and she would can the fish. Maybe Tony's got a really nice setup over there, and he's got some tools that are fixed, and I say, Tony, I need these hooks made, and he can make some hooks with a blacksmithing. I can get Dirt to supply the security for the area. All these different things we can trade back and forth for the fish. There's going to be a want for everybody. It's not everybody's going to run out into the woods and harvest wild animals and bring them back and trade them. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. You have to think about that. Not everybody lives where they can run out and grab wild animals. Okay? Different things I want you guys to think about. Now, we said the medical stuff, the medicinal herbs, things like that. The wild edibles, those kind of things are great. Having the ability to know these things, you need to start studying on them now before you need them. So if you've never fished before, now's a good time to learn how to fish before the situation hits. Just because you have a book, here's a wonderful book, okay? Wonderful book for identifying wild plants. Have you practiced them? Have you been out and done it? Have you been out and gotten these plants? If you have not gone out and gotten the plants and tried the plants and looked for the plants, I guarantee you're going to get out there and you're going to open that book up and you're going to look at it and go, it looks like that. I think it's that. It might be that, but it could be this. These are different things you need to practice now. Oh, well, my neighbor's got cows, so I'm just going to go over and take a couple of his cows, and I'm going to milk his cows. Have you ever milked a cow? I've milked a cow by hand. Have you ever milked a cow? It is not easy to learn to start out with. You have to get into the rhythm of it, and you have to get into how you squeeze on the teats producing the milk. Do you know when the cow is going to produce milk? These are things you need to learn if that's a job you intend to do. You need to start with the skills now. Don't say, well, I'm just going to start sewing because I got a needle and thread in the other room. Have you sewn? Do you sew? These different things are things you need to think about. What skills do you might say, oh, well, I don't really have a skill. Well, what do you do in everyday life? Well, I'm an architect. Well, you know what? If you're an architect, you could probably look at my property and tell me, okay, if I really wanted to make this secure, I could put a wall here and here and here, and you can actually sell that skill to people. I can tell you how to draw the lines up for the fencing, for the wall. I can tell you how and what you need to build the house. Although I don't build the house, I can help you with it. Those are different skills you can use. Things you may think would never happen. The end of the you know what hits the fan, everything else, and people are going to go, oh, well, we don't need computers anymore because we got no power. Well, guess what? Some people are going to have power because they're going to have solar. And they're still going to need computer work because they've got all their books on the computer. And they're going to need the solar stuff. And that's where Foos can still do stuff because he can still repair computers and other electronic devices that he knows how to do. And he can still get that information off there. Selling food could be a skill. Can you sell? Can you sell things to people? That is a skill in itself. My mother said I could sell a drowning man a rock. Maybe she's right. I've got all of you people doing shows with me. Or maybe I've sold myself and sold around the cabin well enough. I don't know. Can you sell stuff? Can you barter? Can you negotiate? Do you know when to get up from the table and when not to get up from the table? Do you know when to get out there and make a profit? Can you do it? These different things you need to take care of. Can you prepare something to sell? Just because you got chickens don't mean somebody's going to want to buy it. You got chickens, and some people are going to go, I could never kill a chicken and pluck a chicken. I don't know how to do all that stuff. I just want the chicken already done. Will you do it for me? Well, just because you got chickens, if you've never butchered a chicken, maybe you ought to have some butchered chickens. Maybe you ought to say, sure, for a couple extra things, I'll butcher the chicken and pluck it and everything else right here for you. And then you would tell them, and for X amount of whatever, I'll also give you the feathers so you can do other things. Or maybe you would trade the chicken feathers to somebody else who makes pillows or makes down clothing or something like that. There's always going to be, something to barter off. The heads and the feet of the chicken to make stock. Hey, it's a commodity. People are not going to, you're going to eat chicken feet? I'm not eating chicken feet. I'm not eating chicken heads. I'm not eating livers and gizzards and this, that, and the other. People are going to say that. But you know what? If you make a stock of it, I bet you somebody'd buy it. Nutritious food in a bad situation, people are going to want it. There'll be some chicken bone neck eating mothers out there, I guarantee you. No, I'm not a fussy eater. I'll eat all that stuff. It doesn't matter to me. Bartering your skills. You need things repaired. They need things. Here's a picture of a farmer and a repairman. Maybe he needs his tools repaired. Maybe he needs a tractor repaired. Maybe he's still got fuel. These different skills you can barter back and forth. Maybe he needs a washing machine. Maybe he needs soap. He may have milk. You may have soap. You may be able to work something out. He might have all the raw materials you need on his property, but he doesn't know how to do it. These are different things that we need to know. They're talking about salt curing and smoking and things like that in the room, which is great. Do you have a smoker? Do you have something? If you bring me so many hams, I will smoke them for you and have them done in X amount of days. I have the wood. Well, wait a minute. I know how to smoke, but I really don't want to go out and gather the wood. So maybe I ought to trade a guy a ham. So if I say, I'll tell you what, I'll smoke your hams and you give me 3 of them. And I give one of them to the guy who goes out and gets the wood. And that leaves me 2 profit. You know, there's ways to get around this. Deals you got to make. Things you got to do that you need to think about. Burn the feathers off, Big Dirt says. Well, you burn the feathers off, you're wasting the feathers. And in you know what situation, the feathers may come invaluable. Those things are something to think about. Maybe your skills are like Big Dirtification, and you've got skills that you don't want to talk about. Things you're good at. Things that you don't want other people to really know that you can do. So you would take those skills and use them to your advantage. Remember, not everybody out there is going to want to be nice and trade with you and play happy. There's going to be people out there who want to take what you have. There's going to be people out there who figure it's a lot easier, instead of trading you, to take from you. Oh, Castle's got a really nice motorhome. And she's got lovely sewing items. And she's set up and she's got wonderful canned goods stuff. And she's got medical herbs and all these good books and everything else with her. Maybe I want to take what she's got. And then instead of trading her, I'm just going to take it all. That's something you need to think about also. Those kind of different things you need to think about. That's where Big Dirt comes in. So, I mean, you know, these kind of skills are things we want to talk about. Different things we want to bring in and bring up that you guys may be interested in and thinking about. Call it the black market. Call it the underground economy. Call it whatever you want to call it. We're all just a couple of paychecks away from it. Here and everywhere else in the world, here in the United States and everywhere else in the world, people are only a few paychecks away. Sometimes I think the third world countries have an advantage on us because they're used to this. They're used to working hard for what they got and really struggling. Here in the United States, you know, if you're hungry, you can go to a food bank. If you're, you know, without stuff, you can go down to a local church and other places and get things. I know, I work at one. I give stuff away. Had to get a drink of lemonade there. I'm running out of mouth juice there. All right. So now, what skills do you guys have? What skills could you barter? Do you have to wait? Could you barter these skills today? I have the uncanny knack of being able to take things that I have gotten and make a profit off of them. Take, for example, a crock jug I have, or had until this last weekend. Had the number 2 maple crock jug that sells for about $35, somewhere in there on eBay. And, you know, I've seen them listed for $60. I've seen them for other stuff. Lowest price I thought $35. So we'll say $35. I got that crock for free. Okay? It's the old jug that looks like the guys are drinking a moonshine out of. Did I need it? No, but I got it for free. I did a clean out with my brothers. We got a place that was emptied out. And I said, oh, I'll take that jug. Now, I took that jug the other day and I sold it for $15. Was it worth $35? Some people will say, well, you know what it was worth? It was worth whatever I got for it. I put it up and said barter. I got a $10 gift card and $5 cash and they came to me. I got it for free. I sold it for $15. I think that's a profit. Things are only worth what other people are willing to pay. You can have the most beautiful rifle in the world, and it costs you, $2,000. That rifle is worth whatever it is somebody's willing to pay for it. For you, it's worth $2,000 because you paid $2,000 for it. If you get hard up for money and you come down to the pawn shop and the guy says, I'll give you $350, it's only worth whatever they're willing to give you. You understand what I'm saying here? Just because you think it's worth that doesn't mean other people are going to think it's worth that. It's only worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. Holding on to, a porcelain doll. I bought it, and now they no longer make it. It's a collector's item porcelain doll. Well, it's only a collector's item to somebody who collects it. Other than that, it's a figurine. Is it worth that? You see what I'm saying? Fixing stuff. There you go. People don't know how to fix stuff. Now, the other day my wife bought a new shirt, and within a couple of hours, the button fell off. We found the button. I was able to re-sew the button on. In society today, people would take that shirt back and go, the button came off, and try and get another shirt, which would have cost gas money driving from here to the new store and all that good stuff. Plus the fact that maybe they would have given her a shirt, maybe they wouldn't have gave her a shirt, maybe she drove over there for nothing. All these different situations could have went through. I picked up needle and thread and I re-sewed the button back on the darn thing. In today's society, I like to call it the McDonald's society. It's all throwaway. Use it, throw it away. Use it, throw it away. I actually have 2 metal cans sitting back here that I'm going to use to make arrowheads with this coming weekend. Okay? I'm going to cut arrowheads out of these metal cans. I'm going to do a video on it. People don't do it. I can buy arrowheads. I can do this. I can do that. Well, there might be a time when you can't buy arrowheads. You've got a metal can, you've got a soup pot. You've got a metal can, you've got a digging tool. You've got a metal can, you've got a container to put stuff in. You've got a metal can, you can boil water. You've got a metal can, you can make arrowheads. You can make a knife. It may not be the greatest knife, may not be the greatest arrowheads. They're free. You paid for the can, you paid 30 some odd cents for the can, or 80 cents, or whatever it is for the can. You got the contents, you ate the contents, you have the can. What do most of us do with it? We throw it in the trash or it goes in the recycle bin. What could we do with that metal? What could you do with that metal? You could put a couple of them together and, not tape them or glue them, but you could take those metal cans, cut them into a certain shape that you wanted, solder a bunch of them together, rivet a bunch of them together, screw and bolt a bunch of them together, and you could make a hoe or a shovel or a fork or anything else, that needed some, different things together with the metal can. You could patch your muffler on your car. God knows I've done enough when I was younger. And never been a couple of months go by that I didn't crawl underneath that old car of mine and wrap a soup can around there and cover that exhaust up. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Nowadays, will they do that? No, it's all disposable. Wire hangers. Remember wire hangers? People don't even get wire. I always keep a couple of wire hangers around the house. They're invaluable. Now everything's a plastic hanger. Really? Invaluable metal hangers. Crying out loud. You're going to throw the appliance away? What do? I always cut the cord off the appliance. Why? Because I strip it down and I save the copper and I cash it in. That's clean copper once you peel the plastic off that electric cord. That's money in the bank right there. You get a bucket full of that stuff up, you cash it in, you can make a few bucks off that. There is no doubt about it. So if your appliance goes bad and you trash it, save the wire. Wire hangers for beating children. That's right. No more wire hangers. Yeah, that's right. There you go. Cords. Use the cords to fix broken cords. Why not? Replaceable cords. Do people replace the cord? The guy looked at me like I had four heads. I went down and I bought an end for my extension cord to replace it. My brother has an electric mower, and he ran over the cord. Yes, he did. Ran over the back, like 5 feet of the cord, ran over it with the electric mower, cut the cord off. Don't ask. It's a 100-foot cord. Now it's a 96-foot cord or 95-foot cord or whatever the heck it is now. But what I went down there and I bought a plug to put on the end of that cord. And I explained to the guy what I was doing. He goes, why don't you just buy another extension cord, dude? I'm like, because all I need to do is replace the end for half the price of a new extension cord. And there's nothing wrong with the cord I had, dude. I mean, this is the society we live in. A disposable society. I've seen guys making pallets. You've seen the pallet trucks? Everybody's seen pallet trucks. You know, the guys who run around with a pickup truck and they pick up the pallets and they fix them and they sell the new pallets for like $3 or $5 or whatever they make for a pallet nowadays. Making money. I know a guy who did so well at it, he was able to buy a roll-off wrecker, and that's what he hauls pallets around. And every day he fills that roll-off wrecker with pallets. Has a huge place in northern Kentucky. He started out with a pickup truck. Now he has a major business repairing pallets. Now they bring him pallets to his place in semis. The local stores have broken pallets. They actually bring the pallets to him. He pulls them apart, remakes them to their dimensions, stencils his name thing on the side of it, and sends them back out. That's a business. I know guys who made money in high school. They started out with a little hatchback and a lawnmower he picked up, put in the back of his hatchback. He has 4 trucks now. I saw him the other day, and I said, I remember when you got 2 trucks. He goes, I got 4 now. 4 pickup trucks with trailers, with zero-turn mowers, the whole 9 yards, and he has people working for him. He owns a business. In the wintertime, they spread salt and plow snow. In the summertime, they cut lawns. He's had the same job since high school. He made a huge business out of it. I mean, these are things people start out with that just blows my mind and continue going with that. Ran over the cord on the snowblower today. Well, there you go, Jason. See, now fix that. There you go. All I got to do is put a new end on it. You just got a little bit shorter cord now. Maybe you cut it in half. Maybe you need to buy 2 ends. I mean, now you got 2 shorter cords. You just plug them together. Pallets. Build a goat barn out of them. People build so much stuff out of pallets. You can get some really good pallets. I've seen teak pallets. Oh, you can hardly drive a nail in one, but it's a really good pallet and will last for many, many years. And getting some of the beams they make off some of these big construction pallets that are made out of teak and brought over from overseas, that's some nice wood right there. I have seen beautiful tables made out of pallets. They took the wood, they planed the wood down, they smoothed it out, they did it. And you'd think, oh, what a beautiful geometric design they have on this thing. All these triangles and that to make this table. And the guy looked at me and goes, yeah, I made it out of scrap pallets. You know, you drive around, you see the scrap pallets free sign on the side of the road. He said, I picked them up, planed them down, cleaned it up, and I made this table. And he sold the table for like $100. He says, with everything else and everything in it, he said, I probably got like $25, $30 in this whole thing. Sold the table for $100. Made 3 times the amount of money for the effort he put into it. Wonderful job. With the underground economy, you can take your stuff to the flea markets and sell things off. Come on now, I went up there and I actually bought, this is bad, I went up there last weekend and I bought these little, what do you call those ladies? An oil and wax burner. Okay. I bought the oil and wax burner for melting for the house. I got tired of buying candles. I wanted something that was continuous I didn't have to worry about, so I got one. I said, okay, cool. How much? They said $6. It burns oil and it burns wax. Puts it in the air. It's a nice little thing. Made the wife happy. So I got 2 of those. Cost $6. She says, how do you want to pay for this? I said, what's the difference? She said, if you charge it, it'll cost you X amount of dollars. But if you pay me cash, straight up $12. So if I paid her cash, I didn't pay any taxes on it. If I used my charge card, she was going to have to pay me. I was going to have to pay taxes. Well, I did one better because I looked at her and I said, oh, well, these are nice. These are interesting. I said, these little light bulb things that are involved with this. It's a halogen light bulb inside there that heats up. You turn it up and down. It's got a dimmer switch on it. It's really nice. I said, but the light bulbs are going to burn out eventually. And she goes, well, I sell a 3-pack of the light bulbs for $5. I said, but how about if I pay you $12 cash and you give me the 3-pack of light bulbs also? And she said, and I said, okay, how about if I, instead of giving you $5, I give you $15 cash and you give me the 2 and the light bulbs. So I saved a couple of bucks. And she said, okay, deal. No tax. No tax, underground economy, plus I got a deal off of it. Now, if she's selling them for $5, you know she's not paying more than $2.50 for it. So I bought it off of her for $3. So I got the light bulbs for like $3. Underground economy. You got to be willing to talk to people. I will go in and make deals. I bought my daughter a bed. I said, I am not paying for the delivery. And he said, my boss insists that you pay for delivery. You have to pay the charge for the delivery. And I said, dude, I am not paying for delivery and you're not putting it on my car and I'm not going to drive this bed home and everything. I said, I'll tell you what. Instead of paying for delivery that way, I'll just go down the street and get it somewhere else. He said, now, wait a minute, I can do something. I said, yeah, what can you do? He said, I'll take the money off the mattress and box spring that would be the same cost for the delivery. So you'll get free delivery. I'll just show it as you getting the mattress and box spring at less money. I said, okay, do it. So I still got my free delivery. He was able to write it in differently. I will wheel and deal and bargain and trade and everything I can to get the best price. With the underground economy, do you guys do that? Do you do it now? Do you practice these skills now? That's what I want to know. What are your viable skills that you can trade? Right now, Fixed by Doc's in the room. I know what he can do. He can split wood like a mother. That's right, because I've seen him out there splitting wood. So Doc could supply wood to people. Barter. I love to barter. I go on Craigslist and barter every day. I am bartering on Craigslist as we speak. I have 4 ads up right now. And more to come. I love to barter. I dug a... Well, you guys have seen my video. I actually dug a rolling table out of garbage. Turned around, cleaned it up a little bit. Put it up on Craigslist. I got it for free out of the garbage. Wiped it off with water. Didn't even use soap or anything. Just wiped it off with some water. Turned around and traded it for a food dehydrator and $20 cash. This is a rolling table that I got out of the garbage. That's my idea of trading, people. I love to barter stuff. I went down and gave people. I went down and gave away some of my pumpkin butter to different people. I give them the pumpkin butter, and you know what? I got stuff in return coming back. Just a jar here, just a nice thing. Here you guys go for Christmas. Oh, here it is. Y'all have a good time. Next thing you know, it opened the door up for a good liaison with the people that I needed to have a good news with, and then I got stuff back for it. Did I expect to get anything back? No. But you got to open that door up. Make those deals. I got a deal the other day. 15 dozen eggs. Got them for free. How did I get them for free? I go down to the food place. I donate my time giving away stuff. I donate my time at the food shelter and the clothing shelter handing out stuff. Do I take anything down there to give away? Yeah, every once in a while I'll take down some canned goods, or they have a special drive, I'll drop some stuff off, things like that. I'm involved in my community. Does it cost me anything? No. I go down there, I give out my time freely to hand out food, usually on like a Tuesday. Just about every other Tuesday of the month I'm down there. Well, they said, "Oh, Rich, we've got these eggs. They're going to go bad. You know anybody who's interested in these eggs?" I said, "Well, I can give a couple of dozen to my neighbors, and then I'll dehydrate the rest." So guess what I'm doing right now, people? That's right, I'm dehydrating eggs again. I got 15 dozen eggs. We gave 3 dozen to a lady who's got 11 kids. 11 kids! Gave them 3 dozen eggs. Gave another dozen to another neighbor and another dozen to another neighbor. So that left me with 10 dozen eggs. I turn around and I'm dehydrating eggs. Dehydrate them eggs. Oh yeah, dehydrate the eggs. You better watch my video, Rich the Ridge Hunter. Go check out my video on dehydrating eggs. Yes, ma'am. Good stuff. You can save those things. Don't get rid of them. Don't, trade them off, borrow them, dehydrate it down. Put them in a jar, seal it up. Good dehydrated powdered eggs. Dehydrated eggs with flavoring in them if you want. You can have scrambled sage eggs. Dehydrated eggs you could use in all your baking. That's right, that's what I do with it. Turn around and use it. I got to thank Castle for that idea. I turn around and use them dehydrated eggs in my baking stuff. It's already scrambled eggs. That's all it is. Scrambled eggs. Dehydrate the scrambled eggs and then break them up. That's it. Scramble them. Dehydrate them. Grind them up. Put it in a jar. Seal it up. Dehydrated eggs. You got fine egg powder. There you go. Then you use that in place of cooking with fresh eggs if you don't have them. If you don't have the fresh eggs. So having these ability for these things to your skills, construction. My back is not good. I could not do construction, but if I needed construction, I could trade off dehydrated eggs. I could trade off canned wild edibles. I could sew. I could cook. I could bake bread. I could make bread without flour, such as we know it. One of my huge pet peeves. Do you know and do you have the ability to make flour if you can't get flour? You know what hits the fan? We're not all going to have flour. What about sugar? These different things you need to think about. Do you know how to break down sugar cane? Do you know you can grow sugar cane? Do you know almost anybody can grow sugar cane? Do you know what to do with the sugar cane? Oh, you see people just chewing on it and spitting out the other goodies. But do you know how to grind down sugar cane? All these different things you need to think about. Can you make arrows? What about bandages? Clothing. What are people going to want? What are people going to need? You don't have to stockpile a bunch of stuff if you're able to make it. Stockpile a little of it so you can turn around and trade it. Remember, we're all just a couple of paychecks away from this stuff. Things I want you people to think about tonight. Well, that does it for me for tonight. I filled in for Giuliano. He's out, like I said, with the class teaching down in Brazil.